So I first want to honor the timelessness of these teachings. And I also want to honor my own Guru Ma. And she brought these teachings to us as teenagers. And just like your mother so beautifully giving darshan to us through the photographs you posted, we're able to dive into this endless flow of knowledge and good energy. We're so blessed to be in connection with you. I so cherish memories of being in your spaces in Pondicherry, both the hospital and in the ashram, the home. And as we do our work of Ishvara Pranidhana, as we find, in the words of my guru, what we can do. I am doing what I can. Are you doing what you can? We see that we have so many different gifts. And we've been given the gift of generosity through this amazing network of individuals that are connected through yoga, connected through seva, connected through service. I want to introduce Kayoko Mitsumatsu, who has created a beautiful organization called Yoga Gives Back. And she will talk to us a little bit about this fantastic work of bringing benefit to girls and women throughout various places within India, a bit to the north of Pondicherry, particularly in West Bengal. And she will be introducing our next experience, Professor Jayadev. So Kayoko.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Chris and Dr. Anand Bhavanani. Laurie Fazio talked about you in our conversation the other day, so I'm grateful to meet you. And thanks for Professor Jayadev for joining from Chamarajanagar in Karnataka. So, and also congratulations to LMU's Yoga Day 10th anniversary, and today is Gandhi's birthday too, so I'm feeling blessed and honored to be here. So Yoga Gives Back, just quickly to share with you all. We started this organization 14 years ago because all of us who benefit any practice of yoga, spiritual, asana, whatever branch of the practice, even a little bit, we really know to our bones that it changed our lives and enriched so much. So we wanted to give back our blessing to India, Mother India. And we do this by empowering underserved women and children. If you're spending $50 for yoga pants, now maybe $100, that money can really change some young girls' life with education. So that's how we started, and we are now in 30 countries. Today we are supporting more than 2,400 women and children. And I'm honored to introduce Professor Jayadev, who runs a beautiful orphanage, Deenabandhu Trust, along with a school for a community that is very underserved, from primary school to high school now. And we also together give a 5-year scholarship for higher education so children can get college degrees in this backward kind of underserved villages. And also we just launched a new campaign so that 800 children who were neglected during the COVID-19 crisis can attend mathematics, science classes and catch up all the education. So we do a lot with Professor Jayadev last 10 years, and he's now giving us a talk, Giving Back is Yoga. Thank you so much, Jayadev, for being here.
Thank you, Kayoko. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Because there was always a problem with my computer earlier. Now it has all been set right. So thank you very much for this opportunity. And I just now listened to part of the lecture by Yogacharya Ji, where Dr. Anand, it was very nice hearing to him about the yoga, the Patanjali yogas. So it is so close to the modern psychology. So Patanjali is often regarded as a great psychologist by some sages. True that it is, as it has a psychological perspective, as well as it takes us beyond to the spiritual realm where the psychology stops. So that's the beauty of yoga. Now I have been asked by Mrs. Kayoko. She has been doing wonderful work helping us to take care of the underprivileged children here. So we all have pondered together that giving is yoga. For me, at least, giving is yoga, because all the while for the past 30 years of founding this organization, we have been trying to enrich the life of our children who have no parents. And many of them have grown, developed into wonderful, very successful people who have a beautiful relationships, that is human relationship. Often it is said that the children who grow in orphanages fail to develop a healthy relationship, but those who have grown here have been very successful in the human relationship, and their articulateness and their educational success and professional success, everything. And this is a wonderful experience that I had. And all the while I have been, of course, for me, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Swami Vivekananda, they have been the guiding forces. And yoga, of course, is the core within the core. I believe that what religion you belong doesn't matter, but we can all practice yoga. That's the beauty about yoga. So yoga is not restricted by religion. It is an attitude towards life. Guruji might have already said the meaning of yoga. They explain it. One is like, it is said concentration. If you remain collected within your own self, remain one and not divisive, then we are with ourselves. As long as we are with ourselves, we are happy. From us emanates the happiness to the world. From us happiness, from us emanates everything that is positive to the world. But if we are divided within, if there is a divisiveness, the divided we are inside, we look at the world as divided, and this divisiveness is the cause of hatred, violence, and even war. That's what I believe. So yoga says, yoga is an art of practice, a practice where which brings about union, united. We become united with our own selves. So it is said that it is the Jivatma which unites with the Paramatma, the lower self with the higher self. If you ask me, are there two entities within ourselves? No. It is like you leave this behind, just like Guruji said, you leave the lower chitta vritti, that is your propensities of moving around, and then go up, and then there you become united and you are one there. So the lower self is the one which is a surviving self. It wants to compete. It has got a lot of duties because the brain has evolved over thousands of lakhs of years in the jungle. So the jungle experiences have entered into our brain, our psyche, our nerves, and they have formed the nerve circuits, so much so that we struggle hard. We struggle constantly to live. So there is a competition in this world, there is a question of security. There is a question of self-preservation. We have to preserve ourselves and survive. So the question of survival makes a struggle. And in this process, the surviving entity of ourselves becomes more and more greedy and selfish. So this greed and selfish comes to us because of this survival strategies we employ. We struggle hard. Now, if you ask me, do we really need to take so much care about our survival? Is it not redundant to be so greedy, so much to acquire? So we have been always acquiring more and more and more with the fear of the tomorrow. Now the question is, do we need to struggle so much, take so much care of ourselves, and acquire so much? Then actually we have created a beautiful world, a modern world of civilized people. We don't need so much of survival strategies, but still we are programmed so much that we keep on struggling to preserve ourselves, to survive ourselves, and we are very precautious about giving. So we always want to keep more for ourselves. So this is the problem of the lower self. And when do we feel happy? Actually, if you ask me, whenever I feel that I'm united with myself, I'm feeling feeling a sense of oneness with everybody around me. When I start liking people around me, when I see that people are not that hostile, they are not hostile. The world is less hostile than we imagine. That's the truth. So this world is not as hostile as we think, not as bad as it is. So when I relax and I'm able to feel happy about the world, give love to the world, give compassion to the world, then that is the moment when I feel very happy. Always whenever when there is a suspicion, for example, if a particular person or someone in around us, if we start suspecting him and thinking that there may be a conspiracy about me, or a hostility that about me, or that he may cheat me, so what happens is we feel very disturbed. Actually, the world is not that bad, and everybody changes as you change. As I change to look at the world with positive attitude, look at the world with hopes, look at the world with compassion, look at the world with love, I start seeing that the people around me are also reciprocating it to me. So this yoga of union, which brings about union with myself, is also bringing a union with others outside. So therefore it is important that I take care of my chitta vritti, that is the propensities of mind that are divisive and things of dividing and things of competing, and therefore to make a success in life. No, success in life need not or will never come through a very wicked competition. Today is the world in which we live is full of such competition. Competition even to do good. I'm really surprised that why people are competing even to do good. I don't understand. So why not we be graceful and be together with each other, join hands with each other and try to do good. but there seems to be a competition even to do good. So which means that whatever we are doing, it is governed by the forces that are sitting inside us and ruling us. There are divisive forces within us, uh, uh, which are trying to rule us. And I am still not the master of myself. So Swami is a word which means the one who is a master of himself. So how I can become a master of myself? This is a very, very important aspect. Today, we have become slaves of wealth. I remember a joke in a school. A teacher asked one of the students. He gave a sentence. Said, "John owns Ford car." He said, "Give this in passive voice." Then the boy got up and said, "Ford car owns John." So instead of John owns a Ford car, but he says Ford car owns John. So today the situation is that the wealth owns human beings, and human beings are not the owners of the wealth. So where have we lost ourselves? It is the yoga that can make us realize that so long as we are collected within ourselves, we find a union within ourselves, we become familiar with ourselves. This is the most important thing. For a very long time, we remain, or even now, I don't know if I am totally familiar with myself. Still, there is a long way to go. But to be familiar with ourselves, to know what we are, to know how much hatred I harbor, how much anger I have, how much of impatience I have. These are very, very important things. And yoga is a practice through which you are inquiring about yourselves, you are observing yourselves, the movement of the mind. Mind moves from one dissolution to another illusion. So it keeps searching for something like entertainment. It keeps jumping, and everything it tries to make profit. So this attitude of mind, always in searching for making profit for oneself, and not really interested in giving. Not giving itself is a profit. So this is another attitude we see in this modern world where technology rules our relationships. So the technology is so strong that we want everything to be proved, empirically proved. If somebody says that I love you, then I have to prove it by giving something. All right, it's not bad. But at the same time, we should understand that the love is not just the act of giving. Act of giving signifies love, but love is also sometimes emanates from us in such a way that it transforms people around us. We have seen this happening with a sage like Ramana Maharshi. You might have heard of Ramana Maharshi. He was in a hill called Arunachala in Tiruvannamalai. And his basic question was, who are you? And that was a wonderful inquiry and puzzled many people. But I read Paul Brunton writing that he went and sat before that Ramana Maharshi, and he had a lot of questions to ask. He was seeking a lot of answers. He was worried about the world wars, the disarmament movement, etc., etc. And then when he went and sat there before the Maharshi, he saw that Maharshi was in trance, and then slowly he started a feeling or a pulping, a river of quietude flowing in front of him, and so started getting the peace flowing into him. And then he thought, It's immaterial whether I get answers to my question or not. Of course, these questions have haunted me since a long time, but it doesn't matter if I don't even get an answer to these questions. So the inner harmony is brought about by people who have achieved the inner harmony. Ramana Maharshi is one such a great soul. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was one such. So the yoga is giving. I was talking with Mrs. Kayoko. Yoga is a very fit subject for me because me, Kayoko, and many of you are engaged in this process of giving. If you ask me how giving can be yoga, is because in the process of giving, we are feeling the other person and me are closer. We are united. So the process of giving to a child, to someone who needs, to someone who wants, if you keep giving, it's a physical act. A physical act of giving with the right attitude in your heart will fill you with a sense of fulfillment. It is the life's purpose. Actually, the whole nature is giving. The stars, the sun is giving light. And within the stars, there is in the great heat and pressure, a cooking of elements is taking place. There is a fusion taking place. And this fusion leads to formation of newer elements, which are alone can give rise to life. And we have evolved from that process. So there is a fusion and giving. So there is a union and giving. This is a process in which the whole nature is working. The air, the water, the energy, it comes and it goes. Between sky and star, there is continuous process of giving and taking. There is a reciprocal exchange of things. If you think of a well that doesn't give water, what happens to that well? If it refuses to give water, that well's water will start stinking after a while. So if the well gives water, the fresh water comes and then you don't stink. So this is exactly what happens with us. If we start giving, we start developing a bond with all. So we start feeling a sense of oneness. That's the Upanishad's messages, that oneness. There is no two, there is one. So how to practice that oneness? It is by art of giving. And giving of material is one thing, but a greater act of giving will be to have an inner peace ourselves first, to have an inner peace ourselves, inner tranquility within ourselves. So with that tranquility and inner peace and inner love, we are able to embrace the world around. And this sense of we feeling one with everyone else is yoga. Yoga unites, as it is said. So the divisiveness within us, we want to overcome. So this divisiveness can be overcome by practicing a sense of belonging to this world at large, and that the whole world belongs to me. I belong to this world as much as the whole world belongs to me. It's like a drop of water. Swami Vivekananda told a story. It's a very nice story. So a drop of water, it seems, said, I'm frightened to get merged into the ocean. Then it seems the ocean said, my dear, just don't worry. If you merge within me, you become ocean itself. Why remain so small as a drop that dries up at last? So that is the understanding that if we merge with the larger existence, merge ourselves, and for that probably the act of giving helps. We practice act of giving and start feeling the people around me are not different from me. Actually, we have an inner instinct, inner programming, and the very constitution of individual is to feel one with all the other. It happens in animals. The colonies of so many different animals work like one. There is no conflict there. So the conflict comes when there is an inner divisiveness, and this inner divisiveness brings about an outer divisiveness. Inner harmony brings about outer harmony. Actually, Mahatma Gandhi, today is 2nd October. Today is the birthday of Mahatma Gandhi. So Mahatma Gandhi employed a novel method. He said, I will change my internal environment. And by changing my internal environment, I change the external. So the external changes only when the internal changes. If you are not ready for a change within, then there is no change without that you desire. So therefore, Gandhiji said, be the change you want to see. Be the change you want to see. So that is the, and Gandhi was constantly practicing this act of giving. He was giving in so many ways. He had no personal life. He went on giving in myriads of ways. And so also, so many great souls, Henry David Thoreau, and a lot of the Indian saints, monks, all these people have taught. Yoga is basically be with yourself, be with yourself, and then give. So Swami Vivekananda, one of the great modern monks who upheld the Vedanta philosophy, he said at last that he alone lives who lives for others, the rest are more dead than alive. And he was constantly working. And he also said, at one stage he said, that I don't understand what people speak of religion. I don't understand the meaning of word religion. But now I understand pain. So he started saying, I understand pain and my heart is expanding. It's becoming very big. I respond to the pain. I think that's a very essential thing. If we can respond to the pain by our side, the misery by our side, that's possible only when we are collected, when we are united with ourselves, when we are healthy mentally. We make a sick society when we can't respond to the pain of others. So the pain doesn't have any religion. It is pain for everybody. How can we go by divisions of religion to ameliorate this pain? So if you want to help the one in pain, we don't consider religion, border, nothing. So all human beings. Why only human beings? Even animals. So it is not a calculated action, I should say. So through calculation, we may act, we may make a project, we may make a big plan. No. The real act of giving comes from a sense of belonging to the others. I am not separate. I am not narrow. I don't remain in my narrow confinement. I am the large one, and I mean within others. This is very true. Actually, children of 2 years old, They can't discriminate between the pain that they have for their fingers with the pain that their mothers have. If mother is hurt, the child thinks its hand is hurt. It is so obvious that the children, even as children, we know that the other's pain is my pain. It's a psychologically studied, well-studied phenomenon. So if we can respond to the pain of the people and then try to help each other, this world will be much better. And
thank you so much, Professor Jayadev. This is such an important, timeless wisdom. And I want to just make a couple of connections between your invoking of Ramana Maharshi, who also was lifted up by Dr. Bhavanani, and that all important question, ko-hum. This is the essence of pratiprasava. Who are we? Are we this body? Are we this story? Are we these emotions? To give the gift of life to a child, as the work of Yoga Gives Back has done, answers that question that I am not only myself, I am every child, every person crying out in need. And this is the beauty of yoga. This is just service and love.
Thank you.